time. It's something that we are all in short supply of. In today's crazy world, there just doesn't seem to be enough time to get our kids their activities, keep our bosses happy, keep ourselves healthy, and fun. You guys remember fun, don't you? Oh man, I remember fun. It was awesome. No, we haven't invented a time machine that can give you more time. However, what if I told you we could save you some time? In today's video, I want to introduce you to our company, Home Connect Solutions, where we've been helping people just like you save time so they can focus on the things that matter. My name's Tim Tritch, and I'm one of the owners of Home Connect Solutions, a tech company here in Omaha, Nebraska. I think you all know that the world is pretty technical these days. It can be really difficult for the average non-techie person to keep up, even though every one of us relies on things like Wi-Fi, the internet, smart home devices, computers, smartphones, and all sorts of things like that to get us through our day. When something goes wrong, and it almost always does, we don't have the time to sit down and troubleshoot and figure out what's going on. We kind of just need this stuff to work. And that is where Home Connect Solutions comes in. We figured that because a majority of the things that people do start with the internet and their home Wi-Fi, that if we could solve that little problem and make it work better in the long run, then they could focus on the things that matter to them. Okay, just for fun here, let's take the average consumer we work with on a day-to-day basis. We'll call him John. So John needs some internet. So he does what everybody does in that situation. Picks up the phone, he calls his local service provider, and he says, hey guys, I need some internet. Pretty simple so far. But then as he goes down the process, the service provider says, you watch Netflix? You use Zoom for your work calls? John, you're gonna need our fastest speed. It's just gonna fail if you don't. Well, John doesn't know whether or not this is true or not. So he has to take the representative at his word. And now John is overpaying for internet. So he may be overpaying a little, but John now has the internet. The installer came in, installed the service, hooked up their router for him, left, and now John has Wi-Fi at his house. However, after a pretty short amount of time, John realizes, or comes to find out, that in his office where he works, the Wi-Fi signal's kind of weak. His office is in the back of the house, and the installer put the router in the front of the house, and the signal just doesn't make it back there. John does what many people do, and he calls out to his neighbor or his friend and says, what do you guys use? I'm just not getting the Wi-Fi coverage that I need. So then after some conversation, the friend says, well, I have a mesh Wi-Fi system and it works awesome. So that is all John needs to know. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go get a mesh Wi-Fi system for my house so I get better coverage. So he heads down to the store. The aisle is just filled with options, all promising John faster, better coverage and everything. It's a bit overwhelming. John kind of has a confused look on his face. So noticing that, a store clerk stops by and says, hey, sir, how can I help? After he explains the situation, the clerk says, oh, you just need this brand over here. This is the one for you. It's very popular. It works really well. As a matter of fact, I even use it in my house. Even though it wasn't the brand his friend had recommended, John picks it up and heads home. Now, John's home. He's excited about this new, faster Wi-Fi. It's going to give him all the coverage that he's going to need in his house. He starts fumbling with the new app. He creates a new account and he starts following the app's tutorial on how to install this system in his house. This mesh system that he doesn't even really understand how it works. He just knows there's a tutorial that he needs to follow. After some perseverance, our eager consumer John finally gets it working. He's got it working. He's got coverage back in the office. Everything is great. All is right with the world again. And he has the coverage he needs in his office so he can get back to work. He couldn't be more thrilled about his purchase. He's able to be productive at work. He's able to watch his TVs, streaming, watching his Netflix, using his fast internet and getting great speeds. By all means, John is great until it stops working. There's an error. There's an issue. He gets kicked out of a Zoom meeting. Not sure what's going on, he turns on his TV. Nothing. What does he do now? John does what everybody does in this situation. Starts unplugging things and plugging it back in and rebooting and power cycling randomly to see if he can get things working. Sometimes it does, but in John's case, it's not working. A little bit frustrated, actually probably a lot frustrated, John picks up the phone and calls his service provider and says, "What's going on? Nothing works at my house." So the provider tries his best to help him. Maybe they reboot a modem, maybe they talk him through power cycling a router, but at the end of the day, that provider is only responsible for their equipment. They don't care what John bought at the retail store. They don't care what the clerk recommended. They only care about their own equipment. So after a few troubleshooting steps and being passed around phone queues, maybe even a drop call or two, John finally gets the internet working, but he's exhausted. He's just exhausted. And the truth of the matter is, everybody goes through stuff just like this. The entire process is a mess. Some people, when they call, even get told from the provider that their internet is down because they don't have fast enough speeds and try and upsell them there on the spot. It is just a mess on how they handle this sort of thing. Home Connect Solutions was built with the Johns of the world in mind. We live in this crazy technical world. Even relaxing at the end of the night where you just want to put your feet up and watch TV has become a technical thing to do. Smart TVs, apps like Hulu, Netflix, all technical things that the consumer has to deal with on a daily basis just to be able to relax. It is getting out of hand. You don't just turn on the TV and watch the 10 channels that come in over the air anymore. We created our company to help. We step in for our members so they don't overpay for their internet. We know they're using equipment that is suited for their home. Then we take it a step farther and we take care of that equipment. We install the updates. We react when the system notifies us that there's a problem going on inside the network. And then we work with those members to get them back online as quick as possible. If their service provider throws them a curveball about something, we're right there to catch it and get them back on track. Then we take it even a step further and help them try and save money by cutting the cord and streaming their live TV service. This not only saves them time and money, but it also gives them peace of mind to know that there's one number to call or text if there's ever an issue or if something ever comes up. If you can relate to any part of John's story, or you've thought about cutting the cord and don't know where to begin, or maybe you tried and failed, consider following our channel. We are going to work very hard to provide content that helps our members be successful in their streaming journey, have Wi-Fi that works really well, and give them the help they need to be successful on that. Thanks for joining us.